Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a farm. If you enjoy this tutorial, please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. On the farm, we have a large farmhouse. Attached to it is a small chicken coop. We have a barn, various animal pens, we have a large field for our various crops with our staunch defender, the Scarecrow, a pond for our frog. We also have a tractor and a truck. Watch until the very end of the video to see the farm get added to Mini City. This is the amount of space required to make the build. And these are the starting materials for the build. However, as we progress through the tutorial, we will need more and more materials. However, I will let you guys know what we need before we use it. Begin by placing a row of 7 stripped spruce wood in a row on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Extend forwards by 2. 1, 2. Then place 2 stripped oak wood extending right. 1, 2. Place a stripped spruce wood on the end. Extend backwards by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We then want to extend across the back of the build, line up with where we first started, and then connect back. The end result will look like this. Now is an excellent time to fill the center of our build in using stripped oak wood. I prefer the stripped oak to travel this way in direction, however you could reverse it if you like. Next, we want to place 1, 2, 3 glass blocks extending up from this stripped oak wood, then extend the last glass block over to the left, and place a dark oak door inside and behind the glass that we have just placed. We then want to build up green terracotta left and right of the entrance. First of all, making it equal in height to the glass and the surrounding door area. However, we want to then take this back row and extend it up a further 2 blocks. 1, 2, 1, 2. We then want to connect it together and extend it all the way over to the left and down to where we first started. The end result will look like this. We can fill in above the door area like this. However, on the left, we want to begin by placing a row of green terracotta across the bottom, and then green terracotta on top of this next row. We want to place 1 on the left, and then 2 extending in from the right, glass pane in between. We then want to extend another row on top of this, and then fill the remaining area in using green terracotta, like so. Next, we are going to form the porch by placing a row of 3, 1, 2, 3 spruce slabs extending from the top of the bottom left-hand corner of the house. We then want to place a spruce plank in front of these slabs. We then want to extend to the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place a plank on the end. We then want to place oak stairs extending right, and then join to the front right-hand corner of the build, like this. We then want to place stripped oak wood inside of the frame of the decking here, travelling the same way as it does inside for continuity. Place spruce fence around the edge of the decking like this, raising up the front left hand corner an additional row, and the front right hand corner an additional row as well. We also want to place spruce stairs underneath this window, with spruce trapdoors flipped up left and right of the stairs. We then want to add chains to the top of the spruce stairs like this, extending upwards. And we also want to add some spruce trapdoors left and right of the window as well. Grab dark oak slabs and place dark oak slabs on top of the extended up spruce fence that we have for the porch. We then want to extend these slabs all the way over to the right so they overhangs one row, and all the way over to the left so they overhangs one row. We then want to extend these slabs one row forwards, just like this, and then we're going to extend these sides up and backwards until we reach the last row of green terracotta for the house, so right there. And we want to do the same thing on the opposite side, so up and back until we eventually hit this point right here, just on both sides. And then we are simply just going to fill the center of this roof in using the dark oak slabs. And it's up to you whether you want to fill underneath these in. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So if we actually come underneath the roof, you can see that it doesn't line up. So like the edges of this are ever so slightly lower than the inside. I actually don't mind this effect, and I am furthermore going to extend the chains up to connect to the actual slabs as well. And where possible, we are going to add, so we're just going to see where we can and cannot place more green terracotta to fill in around this entrance. So some blocks we will be able to extend up and in, but other blocks we won't be able to, and that is perfectly fine. Speaking of the entrance, we are going to add a hanging lantern to the right side. We will have to add a chain first so that we can actually see it from the outside, and we are going to add a doorbell in the form of a dark oak button like this, just left of the door. Next, we want to come up to the top of the house and place rows of 4 green terracotta, 1, 2, 3, 4, extending inwards from the ends of the row of green terracotta that we have previously, and then place glass pane to join both of these rows together, oak trapdoors left and right of the glass pane like so, and then we are going to place dark oak slabs at the edge of the row of green terracotta like this, extend these slabs forwards. We then want to extend these slabs up and inwards until they eventually reach an apex above the glass window that we have in the middle. So it'll end up looking like this, which we can then fill in using green terracotta like so. And this window is for the second story of the house, which has a nice little bedroom in it. So that is pretty much the front of this building complete. Moving on to the right side of the build, we are going to extend up a row of 5 green terracotta from the back corner here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extend all the way forwards like this, join it together. We now have to make a window by placing an additional row of green terracotta along the inside right here, and an additional row of green terracotta on the inside left, join together at the bottom, 2 by 2 row of glass at the bottom like this, fill above the window in like so, add shutters to the window by placing spruce trapdoors left and right of the glass, with spruce signs all along the bottom for a bit of added detail. The fence for the chicken coop is made by placing flipped up oak trapdoors. So extending out of the back corner of the farmhouse, we want to place 1, 2, 3 oak trapdoors, flip them up. Along the side here, we want to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 oak trapdoors, flip them all up. And then, if we place them in this position, 1, 2, 3, connecting back to the house, we have a quite nice seamless edge of oak trapdoors, like this. Next, we can decorate the inside of the chicken coop. So, we first of all are going to place some corals. I'm going to destroy this block here, and this block here. Add water to these. Add spruce slabs to the top. That will then allow us to have some horn coral fans, and these just look like hay or something similar, or straw. and we want to destroy pretty much the majority of the inside of the chicken coop, and I'm just going to replace it with seemingly sort of like random blocks. Like, I want it to look as though that the chickens are actually like in here, causing a bit of a mess, you know, as chickens do. So some different green blocks, some different brown blocks, a bit of podzol and such wouldn't go amiss as well. We can add even some spruce planks, just a little bit of variety instead of just good old grass. We would of course add chickens as well, however they, number one, would escape, and number two, they would cause a lot of noise. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to tackle that problem a little bit later on. Moving on to the back of the build, the first thing that we want to do is add a row of green terracotta all along the back row of stripped spruce. Then on the right side, extend the green terracotta up, left, add a couple of glass pane, and then add an extra row of green terracotta in there. Extend the glass pane upwards. We can then fill around the glass pane, extend across the top, and we can extend the green terracotta up as high as we have on the left side here. And by the way, we can even extend this one row further up than we had previously, both on that left side and extending around to the back as well. We then want to add spruce trapdoors left and right of the window with spruce signs underneath the window. Then we have to add a chimney. This is made by placing stripped dark oak wood, leaving a gap of 2 on the left here, 1, 2. And we then want to extend the stripped dark oak wood all the way up to the top of the build. So eventually, this will want to be a couple of rows higher than the roof. So the roof doesn't go too much higher than this here, so if we actually make a little bit of it. So on the back of the build, we want to place a row of dark oak slabs that extends across the top of the green terracotta and hangs one row off. We then want to extend it one row inwards, and then that will allow us to place a dark oak stairs on top of the slab, and also one just up at the front here. We can then make a roof in kind of the way that one would typically make a roof, by placing back-to-back stairs of a variety extending all the way up and joining together like this. So you can see that the pitch of the roof is only a little bit higher than what we have at the front, and we can just fill this in underneath. And the reason that that is important is because, of course, I wanted to kind of figure out the placement of these dark oaks. So I'm thinking we drop it down one row, just so that it's about one row higher than the pitch of the roof, hoppers on top, and then I want to place flower pots on top of the hoppers, and I think that that's a cool old-fashioned looking chimney. Now finally, on the left side of the build, we want to place a row of green terracotta connecting the front and back together at the bottom. We want to place a 2x2 glass pane in the center, fill in the remaining part of the wall using green terracotta extending all the way up to the top like this. We then want to place spruce trapdoors left and right of the window, with spruce signs underneath the window like so. And then, similarly to what we did on the opposite side of the build, we can track some dark oak slabs extending all the way across the back of the build, inwards by one. We can then place dark oak stairs on both sides like this, and then place upside down and regular dark oak stairs until we eventually hit a point like this. Fill underneath this in using green terracotta like so. And there we go, that's pretty good. So we now have the outline for the roof. Before we make the roof, we want to make the second floor of the house. This is made using stripped spruce wood, and it is placed in the same way as the stripped oak that we have for the ground level, and it is placed directly above the window line. Inside of the house itself, I'm also going to add a ladder. This is at the back, leaving a gap of 1. We want a ladder that runs all the way from the ground level, breaks up into the second floor here, and this will make the attic bedroom. But before all of that becomes relevant, we are going to connect the roof together by placing rows of dark oak stairs, connecting the left and right side together, and then eventually feeding in dark oak slabs from the front portion of the roof so they all connects together nicely. You may even find it easier to extend some of the central part of the roof first, but it's going to be a little bit of a give and take with this particular roof. You'll find a way to do it and make it look nice and clean, I'm sure. With the outside of the farmhouse finally complete, we can now head inside and begin work on the interior. On the left side of the farmhouse, we have a kitchen. So begin by placing a cauldron in this back corner with a tripwire hook above it. Left of it, we are going to place a furnace with a brewing stand on top of it. Fill this gap by placing stripped spruce wood. We then want to add a flower pot here, a spruce trapdoor here, and a flower pot here, and we are going to place a dandelion in one of these. Then we want to place a fridge next to these ladders here, so this is 2 white concrete stacked on top of each other, stone buttons in front of the white concretes, and then opposite this we are going to place a spruce trapdoor extending from the wall and another one to meet it to form a table. Then dark oak stairs either side of the table like this, so you can have one extended out and one connected to it if you like, with a lantern on the table. Then in the opposite corner of the build here, we want to place a series of bookshelves like this, crafting table in front of it, and a smithing table in front of it as well. I'm also thinking that we can add some brown glazed terracotta to the floor. So if we add it right in the middle here, I think that introduces another color into the build, and it also just feels a little bit better in here rather than just a plain boring floor. Next, still on this side of the house, I want to add a painting here right in the middle of this wall. So I'm thinking just a 1x1. We then want to place an armor stand in front of this and stack it up with some armor, with a chest next to it. Heading upstairs now, we have a giant bedroom for us to finish. So we want to add a couple of beds just against this wall here, with a crafting table one side, a chest the other. We also want to have a 1x2 painting as well, so this is going to be placed directly above the bed. So I'm thinking I would like this one. Perfect. So we can destroy the excess here, add a flower pot to the crafting table with a flower inside of it. We should shrink the ceiling ever so slightly. So if we add dark oak stairs underneath the ceiling, so that it kind of like fits the form of the ceiling like this, maybe they can wrap around or something on the front. So on the front, maybe we just kind of like leave it a little bit open. We can even, yeah, there we go. So we can actually like walk up to the window. I think that that's pretty good. So that is one side of the room taken care of. You know what, guys? This wasn't the original plan, but there's actually enough room to put a bathroom up here as well. So I think that we're going to do that. We'll have to start off by sealing off this wall here, right next to the ladders, and removing some of the stairs that we placed. But we do want to keep some of the contour of the stairs like this. I think that the entrance to the bathroom will best be served here, so just offset in the middle of the wall. Maybe a spruce door would be best for this. I'm also going to add a 2x2 square of brown and green carpet just in front of the bed like this, and maybe an armor stand next to this window as well, kind of outfitted similarly to the one that we have down below. We could even change the position of this chest to turn it sideways, and we actually have a bit more storage. With the bedroom complete, we can now head into the new ensuite. First of all, we want to add a bath just to the right here, so it's actually easier if we remove those stairs, and we then want to place stone stairs on the ground like this, positioned backwards, with a tripwire hook above one end, and we can even fill this with water if we like. Replace these two stairs here, and then we want to add a toilet. This is a cauldron, and we want to add a sink. This is a quartz stair. So above the sink we will place a tripwire hook, and above the cauldron, I can't believe that I don't have one on me, this is a little bit embarrassing, an oak trap door. And there we go. Oh, you could even place like a banner against the wall somewhere as well to kind of signify that we have a towel, but we've turned this cramped little space here into an ensuite, and I think that it just adds a little bit more to the build itself. I also think a torch above the door would be a nice addition as well, and maybe we can even have it on the opposite side to provide a bit of light. With the ensuite complete, we have now fully finished the farmhouse. The next project is to make a pond in front of the farmhouse that we can keep frogs in. So, in front of the farmhouse, this doesn't have to be a precise measurement, maybe 1 or 2 blocks in front of the porch area. We want to make a jagged sort of shape into the ground. So this wants to look like a natural occurrence, something like this. We want to add some podzol around the edge of this, and more importantly, we want to dig it 1 row further down and add some further podzol. If you're feeling fancy, you can use things like coarse dirt and different woods and even some terracotta and some concrete, but that will also work nicely. Fill the pond in using water, and then add some lily pads to the pond. Frogs love that. We also want to add some reeds. So these are placed diagonally to each other, a mixture of green and lime green glass pane with brown candles on top will act as reeds. And if you want to go one step further, you can make this a really chill area by adding a campfire and a couple of chairs in the form of spruce fence and spruce trapdoors on top of the fence, like so. Later on, we will be adding frogs to this area as well. However, similarly to the chickens, they will make noise, probably escape, and we do have a solution to keep them all together, which we will apply a little bit later on. And for now, I'm just going to replace the campfire with a campfire in an item frame because that will once again create an annoying noise which nobody needs to hear. Before we move on to the next part of the build, we need enough new materials that I think that it's a good idea to take a look at what we're going to be using. So these are what we are going to be using for the next few parts of the tutorial. Believe it or not, we will still be needing more items after this, but for now, this will do. On the front left-hand corner of the property, we want to have a bunch of different crops. So, on the front left-hand corner of the grid, we are going to place a spruce fence and extend it backwards by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then extend this 12th block across by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We also want to extend the first initial block across by 7 also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So inside this fence, we will evenly be able to place 4 different kinds of crops. And the way that we will do this is all the way at the front here, extending from here to the edge of the fence, we want to place 2 rows of farmed land in the ground, and we want to fill the first 2 rows in with any of your seed or vegetable or what have you of choice. So I'm going to go with good old wheat. We then simply leave a gap of 1, and then we want to do the same extending backwards. So in this case, I'm going to place beetroot, and then leave a gap, do 2 rows again. We're going to go with carrots this time. Leave a gap of 1, and then do 2 rows. And last but not least, we are going to do potatoes. So all of these seeds are going to be left to grow in their own time, but the only way that they will reach maturity is with our good old pal, the Scarecrow. So in the middle of this area, we want to place a spruce fence. We then want to place a red terracotta on top, oak button in front. On the left side here, we will stick an oak fence, and on the right side, an open oak fence gate. Place a carved pumpkin on top. You can even go with a jack-o'-lantern if you're feeling fancy. We then want to place a dark prismarine slab on top of this, and we will then have to place string in front of, to the left, behind, and to the right of the jack-o'-lantern, with then brown carpet on top of the string. And there we have our dutiful protector, the warden of the farm, Mr. Scarecrow. In the opposite corner of the property lies a barn. It is literally the opposite corner from where we were just working, and to make the barn, we want to come to the corner, extend inwards diagonally 1, 2 rows, and begin by placing a cyan terracotta. Extend that cyan terracotta to the right by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, extend forwards by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we want to extend the opposite side forwards as well, also by 6. We then, on the left and right side of this, want to place red terracotta on the ends of the row of cyan terracotta, a red terracotta in the middle, oak trapdoors laid flat on top of the cyan terracotta with flipped up oak trapdoors like this to form windows. We then want to place red terracotta along the top of this to form a solid wall, and then add an additional row of red terracotta like so to raise the height of the barn. We want to do the same thing on the opposite side, so red terracotta on the ends and in the middle, oak trapdoors on top of the cyan terracotta and flip them up, red terracotta along the top of this, and then add an additional row across the top like so. Fill the back of this in using red terracotta like this to form a solid wall. For the front of the barn, we want to add a barn door by placing 2 rows of red terracotta in front of and to the left of the open space on the right side of the barn here. We then want to add some diorite wall along the left side of this, just to appear as though it's kind of like a sliding door. We also want to add birch signs all the way along the bottom of the barn on the outside of the cyan terracotta. I don't know why, I just like this effect. For the actual floor inside of the barn, first of all, we have to remove the grass. Then, starting from the back, we are going to place 3 rows of oak planks, followed by a row of spruce, and then 2 rows of oak planks. We also want to add a fence, so the fence is going to sit on top of the spruce, and we can even add a fence gate so we can actually get in and out of the barn, of course. We also want to add some hay bales to the barn, even a little bit of yellow carpet. You can even use the triggers we used outside with the chickens, the coral fans, and a couple of cauldrons built into the ground, and we really should add some water in these to further iterate what these are actually for. And perfect, we have a nice interior for the barn now. So when it comes to the roof of the barn, we first of all want to add some smooth quartz slabs extending off the top of the barn on the left and right side. We then want to extend the smooth quartz slabs 1 row forwards and then 1 row inwards like this, similar to how we made the roof for the farmhouse. We can then add smooth quartz stairs on top of those slabs, add an upside down stair extending inwards from both sides. We then want to add smooth quartz slabs on top of the upside down stair and join together across the top like this, so we get a fairly flat looking roof. We can then add red terracotta behind the upper pair of upside down stairs and join them together like so. We'll want to have the same thing on the back as well, including the smooth quartz slabs and stairs too. And that gives us the frame of the roof. So all we would have to do from here is add stone stairs in between the quartz frame like so, and smooth, or rather stone slabs in between the pair of smooth quartz slabs at the top. So edge of the roof is smooth quartz, inside the roof is stone. You know, looking at it, I think that we're actually going to take 1 row off the top of the door of the barn and then extend the actual wall of the barn across a little bit. I think that that looks a little bit better. And do you think it looks better to have cyan terracotta for the bottom of the barn door? I actually don't know if I do or not. Decisions, my friends. I will leave that in your hands. However, with the barn complete, we can now move on to the next part. Next up, we simply just have to make a few different animal pens. They're really easy to do, and the way that we place them is extending from in front of the right corner of the barn here. We want to leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on this 6th block here, place a spruce fence. We then want to extend the spruce fence to the left by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then want to extend forwards by 3, 1, 2, 3, and then extend to the right, and then join back together. And then that is the shape of one pen. We can then do this 2 more times by placing rows of 1, 2, 3 spruce fence extending forwards from both sides, join them together, and then one last time 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then join them together like this. So nice, evenly placed, evenly spaced. We can add some fence gates to this if you plan on actually letting the animals in and out. Spoiler alert, my animals will never get out. We are going to add some hay bale to each one of these. I kind of like them all in the same pattern with the same sort of yellow carpet like this. Maybe we'll just have the middle one be a little bit different. And there we go. Later on, when we actually add all of the animals to the farm, we will be able to add 3 different kinds of animals to each one of these pens, and they will be very happy probably here. Next, I want to make a dirt road that connects the farm both to the outside, but also to the farmhouse. So we're going to leave a gap of 2 from the edge of this fence here, so 1, 2, and then we're going to dig a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks like this. So these blocks are going to be, well, a mixture of things really. So the area that we want to have is a mixture of grass path, coarse dirt, podzol, and however else you want to get fancy with it. So any kinds of brown blocks and stones and, you know, things that would generally make sense to have as a path, we want to have extending all the way back to the farmhouse itself. And we will leave a couple of rows gap from the actual farmhouse, just like this. The path doesn't even have to be straight if you don't want it to be, but I am going to recommend that on some of the more like walked areas, which will be towards the animal pens and towards the barn and what have you, maybe make it a little bit like, maybe make the path and the grass and what have you a little bit worn. So to show that this farm is actually like walked about and what have you, you don't have to, but I think that looks perfect. That's a nice little bit of a comp. Another good reason to have this road is that now we have a place to put our vehicles. The first of which is going to be a truck, so to make that we will need all of these materials that I have handily stored in this chest right here. Do feel free to change the colour, you just have to change the wool and the carpet. I'll leave the precise positioning up to you, but I'm going to place the pickup truck towards the front of the farm here. So begin by placing 2 black concrete powder on the ground next to each other. Place stone slabs in front of the concrete powder at the top and also behind. We then want to add another row of black concrete powder, and then another row of stone slabs extending out of the back. Then stone buttons on the sides of the black concrete powder, like this. And then at the front, we want to add a 2x2 square of blue wool, like this. Extend the back pair up a row, glass pane in front, glow item frames in front of the wall, tripwire hooks left and right of the bottom of the back of the cab, blue carpet on top of the cab just to make the roof. We then want to place light grey carpet on the bed of the truck, and finally spruce trapdoors placed along the sides of the light grey carpet like this, and you can choose to flip all of them up. Well, you would always have the left and right side up, but the back is kind of like up to you whether you want it up or down. That is completely up to you. You can even leave it off if you like. I like to just keep it open like this. And there we go. That is the pickup truck made. Next, we are going to make a tractor. All of the materials are handily stored in this chest right here. I'm going to place the tractor a little bit further up on the road here, but it's completely up to you. Honestly, anywhere would be good. Maybe even at the side of these pens facing sideways would be a great position too. Anyway, begin by placing a black concrete powder on the ground. Then place a smooth stone slab right of that. And then another black concrete powder. We then want to place stone buttons on the sides of the powders. We then want to extend the smooth stone slabs backwards. 1, 2, 3 smooth stone slabs extending backwards from the first one. We can then place red terracotta on top of the first 3 slabs. 1, 2, 3. And on the last one, a spruce stair. Then in front of this, we want to place an oak fence on top of the terracotta. And then left and right of the first red terracotta, we want to place oak sides with a ladder in front. We can then place a smooth stone slab here, above and behind the right wheel. And then all we have to do is place upside down polished black stone stairs on the outside of the back smooth stone slab, upside down stairs in front of those, and then we want to place the opposite regular placed stairs on top of the upside down ones to form a wheel. And there we go, we have a tractor. Now, before we move Mini Farm into Mini City, we are going to first of all clean up the grid that we used to make the farm. and add some boundaries. Spruce fence across the front of the farm. Oak leaves across the right side of the farm and the back of the farm. And then I'm going to plant a bunch of oak saplings along the left side of the farm, starting from the back corner and extending, I would say, 3/4 along towards the front of the farm. We now have to add the farm into Mini City. First of all, we are going to extend the hospital road outwards so that we have something for the farm to connect to. Then, we are simply going to move the farm ever so slightly closer to the road. It's going to maintain roughly its original position, and I think that we can build up a cool rural area here. So for now, I think that right here is perfect. So now that the farm has found a semi-permanent home, we can now add the animals to the farm. The first thing that we will need before we actually add the animals is some barrier blocks. You can see the command for that right here. If we actually want the individual animals to stick around as well, we are going to need some name tags, which of course means that we have to throw down an anvil, open it up, stick a name tag on there, and then of course just name it. So I figure the first animal that we'll add to the farm is a cow. So how about Mr. Cowson? We'll go all capitals to show respect. By the way, you don't necessarily need the barrier blocks or the name tags. This is just the easiest way to permanently have animals at the farm. You can also opt to just make the walls of the enclosures higher, but I'll leave that decision up to you. I have my barriers, I have my name tags, and I have a bunch of different spawn eggs. Let's populate the farm. So as you can see, if you are going to use barriers, my personal recommendation would be to not just build up on the sides, but also build across the top as well. You can build up just really high, but honestly, I find it just so much easier to also cut the top off also. And also, last little thing before you do or do not decide to add the barriers are cool. They do of course keep the animals in, however, they do keep us out as well. So that is the drawback. So the first animal to be added is of course the cow, who is going to be known as Mr. Cowson. Next is going to be a sheep, which of course has to be called Sean. Naturally our pig will be called Pepper. Our horse will of course go by the name Horsey Horseton. The chickens will of course be named Chick-fil-A and KFC. And last but not least, we have Toadsworth III. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the farm fully populated with animals, and that means that this tutorial is now complete. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I hope that you are enjoying Mini City so far. If you would like to make any of the other builds, do check out the description below for the Mini City playlist. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.